I'm Caitlin. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Mia.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Huge fan of yours. So this is
Thanks.
really cool. Yeah, I think that what you're doing on TikTok is just like super cool. So I'm really excited to chat a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess the first question I was wondering was, how did you get started in music?
Yeah, so I always have trouble answering this question just because like music has literally been like the biggest part of my life for my entire life. Um I think that I kind of like I have music in my blood because my parents are both very musical. My dad was in a band when he was a teenager, and my mom was actually a really, really talented dancer, but she would always do like poetry on the side. She like really loved writing poetry. And then when she met my dad, she kind of realized like, oh, I've been writing like song lyrics my entire life. I just had never put like music to them. And so they write songs together now, and they've been doing that for a while. So I grew up kind of like watching them do that. And both of my brothers, they did like musical theater and everything. So I definitely grew up around a lot of music. So it was always like a really big passion of mine. Like when I was little, like my biggest dream was literally to just be Taylor Swift. Like when I was 6 years old, I was like, no, yeah, I'm gonna be like Taylor Swift when I grow up. But yeah, I think that I did my first production in fifth grade. I auditioned for this musical called The King and I at like the high school that I ended up going to because they needed little kids to play the king's children. So I auditioned and I got in, and that kind of started like my love for performing. So then I ended up doing like musical theater all throughout middle school and high school. But then I think like freshman year of high school was kind of when like my love for music changed from like, oh yeah, I really like singing and performing and everything to like, this is what I want to do as my career. And kind of when I really started to, pursue like the industry and becoming like an artist. So I started like performing out at coffee shops, and I started my first Instagram account where I would post little, covers, like singing covers and stuff. I taught myself piano and guitar and all that stuff. And yeah, music has just been kind of like my everything for my entire life.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I know you mentioned like you made an Instagram and then now you're on TikTok. So yeah, I was just wondering, like, how did you end up earning such a big following on TikTok? Like, what strategies did you use to reach so many people?
Yeah, I think that I owe a lot of my success to One Direction and Harry Styles because when I first started posting on TikTok, I was like doing my rewrites and everything. And really, like, the only songs I was doing was Harry Styles and One Direction, just because, like, I think everybody during quarantine, for some reason, like, went into a One Direction phase for whatever reason, and I did that too. So it was just like the music that I was obsessing over at the time. So it was the music that I wanted to rewrite and like cover and everything. Um, and I think that they just have such a passionate fan base that I kind of was, able to like bounce off of their fan base a little bit. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that like I said, I've been like posting videos of me singing and my music and stuff since I was 15, and it never really went anywhere, and then like all of a sudden it like got really big. um so I don't know, I think it was just kind of like timing, and I think a lot of like what TikTok does is like I think a lot of it is luck and just like timing and getting onto the right people's for you pages and stuff like that. So I don't know how it happened, but I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, so I noticed that, like what makes you stand out is that you do this thing where you like rewrite other songs, and that's so cool. So like what inspired you to take that approach instead of just like doing your own songs or like covering songs just like the way they are? Like what was that process like for you?
Yeah, so I started doing my rewrites because I actually saw another girl on TikTok do rewrites. Her name is Kate Ranka. She's amazing. Um, and like when I first got on TikTok, like I said, I was going through like a weird One Direction phase. So I like only followed like TikTokers who like were like One Direction or Harry Styles like update accounts, or they would just post about them. And so that's kind of like what she was. And so I definitely saw her as like a little bit of a like celebrity. So she posted a rewrite of one of Harry's songs, and I saw it and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I'd never ever seen anybody do anything like that. And I was like, I'm gonna try that. And so I wrote my song in like under 10 minutes. Like it just came super easy to me. And I was like, oh wow, I love this. And I posted it on TikTok and I tagged her and she ended up seeing it. And I like remember like fangirling. I was like, oh my God, I've made it. This is my moment. Um, and I think her or maybe a couple other people commented like that they wanted the full version. And I was like, okay. So I posted a full version on my YouTube channel. And I think it ended up getting maybe like a couple thousand views. And at the time, it was like a big deal if I got like 50 views on a video. Like nobody watched my videos. So I was like, oh wow, people really like this. This is cool. And like I like doing this. So it was kind of like a win-win situation. So I ended up just, continuing to post that on TikTok, and it worked out really well. And it was, like I said, it was something that I really enjoyed because it was a way for me to kind of like work on my songwriting skills, but still have kind of like that common interest with other people so I could, get in front of a bigger audience. Um, but yeah, it's really cool. I really loved doing my rewrites, and I think a really big thing about TikTok is kind of like, being unique and like trying something new that other people aren't doing. And I think that's partially what I liked about doing my rewrites was it didn't really feel like I was doing just, another cover like I had done hundreds of on my Instagram account. It like felt very new and different and very exciting. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So you rewrite a lot of other people's songs, but if you could have someone famous rewrite one of your songs, who would you pick and why?
Oh my god, I love this question. I mean, I think like for obvious reasons, like Harry Styles would be awesome,
Yeah,
but I also think like, oh my god, if like Taylor Swift could rewrite one of my songs, like she probably could like just make it like a million times better. Um Maybe also like Olivia Rodrigo or Phoebe Bridgers. Any of those people would be amazing.
yeah. I love all those people. I love Phoebe Bridgers especially. So I'm so happy you said that. Yeah. So also, you're a big advocate for body positivity and self-acceptance. So I guess I was also wondering, like, how do you incorporate that message into your music or into your platform that you've built up through TikTok?
Yeah, so I definitely through my songwriting, I've definitely started talking about like um topics that are kind of, like harder to talk about, I guess. I think for a really long time I really struggled with songwriting because I wasn't being real or being super raw and truthful. And I think that that's like, I've learned that that's a really big component of songwriting. I think that's what like, creates some of the best songs is like honesty and vulnerability. Um, and so I think that once I started listening to like artists like Phoebe Bridgers, who I think is like so real and raw in her songs and like relatable about little things, um, once I realized like, oh, I don't have to write about like this big epic love story or this like devastating heartbreak for like my songs to be good. Like I can write about, like struggling with body image or like mental health or stuff like that, and people will still like connect with that. I think that's when I really fell in love with songwriting. So yeah, I just try to nowadays I just really try to be truthful to myself through my songwriting, and I think that that's kind of what people connect with. So, I just wrote a song a couple weeks ago and posted it on TikTok called Millionaire about struggling with body image and eating disorders and everything like that. And people seemed to really resonate with it, and which was really sad to see so many people like connecting with it, but it's also like very comforting in a way that like music can bring people together like that. It's just like a really really comforting, reassuring feeling to like put your heart into a song and put it out there and say like, hey, I'm going through this, and for other people to be like, I'm going through this too, like we're gonna be okay. So yeah, I just try to be really real through my songwriting, and I think that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And so, I know that you mentioned that, when you were going through that phase of like, I want to be more real in my songwriting, you turned to Phoebe Bridgers, but I'm wondering if there's any other influences that you've had on your music or like the process of writing lyrics.
Yeah, so Phoebe Bridgers obviously is a really big inspiration for me, just like lyrically and just kind of like the way her music sounds. I think it's like I always say her music kind of just sounds like a swell of music. Like it's super big, but it still feels really like stripped back, which is really, really cool. But I also love Lizzie McAlpine. I think that I just kind of started listening to her music a little over a year ago, and I think she also kind of inspired me with songwriting, just because I think that the way that she writes and kind of like her melodies, they feel so conversational, um, and like super super casual, but like still beautiful. Like the melodies are still like so intricate. So yeah, I think that once I found Lizzie McAlpine and Phoebe Bridgers, I kind of found them in like around the same time. Once I found them, I feel like that's when my songwriting changed, because um I just kind of like resonated with them and connected to their style, and once I heard their music, I kind of realized like, oh wait, I think this is the genre that I am too. So yeah, they're definitely probably two of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah, yeah. I love Lizzie. Actually, one of my friends at college, like his cousin, I don't know if you know Ben Kessler, but he did like a collab with her and he's like his cousin. So it's like
Oh my
weird
god,
connection
cool.
there. But
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, that's so cool. So kind of switching gears here. Obviously like there's a pandemic going on and so like being a musician is kind of tough. So I was wondering like what's it like being a full-time musician right now, like during a global pandemic, and how are you staying connected with fans now that it's harder to do in-person shows and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think that going into, quarantine and everything, I kind of um I think everybody can relate to this. I kind of felt like, oh my god, this is like putting a halt on my career. Like I can't believe, because when it last year, like when the pandemic started, I was like freshly out of high school. But I decided to not go to college and like do music full time and everything. And so before the pandemic, like that's kind of what I was trying to do. I was like gigging out at like restaurants and bars and stuff like that. And I was really trying to like get into the music industry, and it just kind of wasn't working out. But it was still obviously something like I really wanted to do. So when the pandemic happened, I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna like continue doing this? Like I can't go to bars and restaurants, I can't perform, I can't do all of this stuff. But I actually think um, it's like it sounds bad to say because the pandemic has been like so devastating for so many people, but I think that for me, I'm very lucky and blessed to say that I think that it was a really good thing for me to be kind of stuck at home, because it just gave me like literally all of the time in the world to focus on my music. Like I literally started a little schedule every single day where I would mark off like, okay, like 45 minutes of guitar, 45 minutes of piano. Did I write a song today? Did I post a cover today? Like, I just like really focused entirely on music. And I don't think I would have been able to do that before the pandemic, or if life had continued on as it was. Just like with a busy schedule and kind of like that. So, um, I think that it was actually a good thing for me as a musician. And I literally wouldn't be sitting here doing this interview if it weren't for the pandemic, because I started posting on TikTok because I had nothing else to do. And it's just brought me so many opportunities and so many people. And I just feel like I'm a much stronger artist, and I feel more connected to my music. And I don't know, I feel better than ever, so, I think it really was a good thing for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And so, also like you're doing a lot of this on your own, I'm assuming. So how do you juggle, making music and then making sure you're posting consistently on social media, or like if we're in a normal year, like booking gigs, like how do you juggle all those facets on your own?
Yes. So I'm very lucky. I have a manager named Tori, and we have like a little team behind her. I'm very lucky that I had that she found me because she does a lot of things behind the scenes that I don't even realize we have to do. Um, but so I'm very, very lucky that I have her in my life to kind of like keep me organized. But as far as like the music side of it and like, juggling like posting and everything like that, I think what I really try to do is just like um listen to myself and try to not be like too hard on myself. Like some days I'll feel myself really like forcing myself to like write a song or post a TikTok just because like, oh, my views are down or I need to get a couple more followers or something like that, like just stupid little reasons. And kind of when I feel myself doing that, that's when I recognize that I need to pull back and take a break. Because I think that that's when I create some of my worst content is when I'm creating it for other people. But when I'm creating it just because I love it and I want to put it out there for people to see because I'm proud of it, I think that's when I like make my best videos and write my best songs and everything. So yeah, I think it's really what I've learned. It's really about like balance, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so obviously, there's a lot of people watching your TikTok. So I'm sure there's other artists out there that are thinking like, whoa, like I want to do that. So what advice would you have for them, the people that are like, I want to build this following on TikTok, or I want to get my music out there?
Yeah, I think kind of what I was saying before, I think it's like make and it doesn't even necessarily have to be music, like just if you want to be like a TikToker, like I think it's really about like doing it for yourself first and being real and truthful to yourself. And that's what people pick up on. I just watched an interview of Olivia Rodrigo on Rolling Stones, and she was talking about creating her newest song, Deja Vu. And she said something about like songwriting, how like um, being like truthful in your lyrics is never going to go out of style like that. It doesn't matter what genre of music, it doesn't matter anything, like being true to yourself will never go out of style. um and I really resonated with that because I think that's what I always try to like tell people is if you're creating the content that you love and that you're proud of, then that's what people are going to resonate with. So yeah, to just kind of do it for yourself first.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now that you have this platform on TikTok, and you have a lot of people that are watching your videos, what do you plan to do with this platform moving forward?
Yeah, I think that I just hope to it sounds cheesy, but I hope to kind of just be like a safe space for people. I think that music has always felt like kind of a home to me. And it's something that I've always turned to in like my hardest, like darkest times. And kind of to see people now saying that, my music is like that home or that safe space for them that they turn to is like very full circle for me and very fulfilling. And it's like the most amazing feeling in the world. So I think that if I can just continue to, write music that people feel connected to or that makes people feel seen or understood, then I'm good. I'm satisfied.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Thanks.
that's all the questions I had, but it was really great to meet you and like hear about what you're doing. I think it's so cool. So,
Oh,
you know,
thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
yeah, of course. Yeah, best of luck with, everything. And I know like us at Feminine Roar will be, keeping up with whatever you are posting, or, new
Thanks.
music. So we're excited for you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.